These clips are here to refresh your memory. Watch Trump's face while Obama talks.
And I know just the guy to do it. Donald Trump is here tonight. Now, I know that he's taken some flack lately, but no one is happier, no one is prouder to put this birth certificate matter to rest than the Donald. And that's because he can finally get back to focusing on the issues that matter. Like, did we fake the moon landing? What really happened in Roswell? And where are Biggie and Tupac? All kidding aside, obviously we all know about your credentials and breadth of experience. For example, no, seriously, just recently in an episode of Celebrity Apprentice at the steakhouse, the men's cooking team did not impress the judges from Omaha Steaks. And there was a lot of blame to go around, but you, Mr. Trump, recognized that the real problem was a lack of leadership. And so ultimately you didn't blame Little John or Meatloaf. You fired Gary Busey. And these are the kind of decisions that would keep me up at night. Well handled, sir. Well handled. Say what you will about Mr. Trump. He certainly would bring some change to the White House. Let's see what we've got up there. So, yes, this has been quite...
I think this is the exact moment he decided to run. Watch and tell me I'm wrong.
Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke. Donald Trump often appears on Fox, which is ironic because a fox often appears on Donald Trump's head. If you're at the Washington Post table with Trump and you can't finish your entree, don't worry, the fox will eat it. And if I can for a moment talk about the birther issue, when did we get so suspicious about where people were born? A USA Today poll last week said 38% of Americans think the president was definitely born in the U.S. In the same poll, in the very same poll, only 5% more said Donald Trump was definitely born in the U.S. Has it reached the point where Americans only think someone was born here if they saw it? I know I was born here, and I know my younger brother was born here. But when it comes to my older brother, I can only take him at his word. Gary Busey said recently that Donald Trump would make a great president. Of course, he said the same thing about an old rusty birdcage he found. Donald Trump owns the Miss USA pageant, which is great for Republicans because it will streamline their search for a vice president. Donald Trump said recently he has a great relationship with the blacks, though unless the blacks are a family of white people, I bet he's mistaken.
This is where normalization began, and it made me sick.
The polls, right?
I love them.
We released 3 national polls last week. 3 polls last week. The national poll, Iowa, New Hampshire, you're ahead by far. And then you release this controversial statement. Why not just sit on your big lead and just let it ride?
Because, Don, I have to do what's right. We need a dialogue in this country and throughout the world. We have a big problem. And as you know, I have many friends who are Muslims. They're phenomenal people. They are so happy at what I'm doing. I was called by 3 people today, very big. They said, you are doing a tremendous service, because unless people are going to be talking about it, it's never going to be solved.
But you know, a lot of people are unhappy with you. You're getting a lot of criticism. You're getting criticism from your own party, from Reince Priebus, from...
I'm getting criticism from people that are running against me that have no poll numbers. I mean, they're doing very poorly. I see Jeb Bush and this one and that one, and they're criticizing me. Although Jeb Bush actually said some very good things about me the other day. Did you hear?
Let's.
He said I'm a great talent.
Yeah, but even Dick Cheney, the former vice president, the new Speaker of the House, Reince Priebus, the head of the party, they're all criticizing what you said.
So when I did the whole thing on illegal immigration and Mexico and the border, I got much more criticism than I'm getting right now. And everybody said, oh, that's going to be the end. That's going to be a disaster. And 3 weeks later, everybody agreed with me that I was right. They all came into my side. The group that is not criticizing me is the public. The public agrees with what I said. They saw those 2 animals last week go out and shoot people. And the husband and wife, the wife came here on a phony visa, on a visa that, frankly, it's disgraceful that she was able to come in, and she probably radicalized him.
Yeah.
She had a fiancé visa.
Fiancé visa.
And a disgusting, disgraceful thing. So the people that are with me 100% are the people. And that's frankly all that matters. The politicians, look, the politicians are very upset. They haven't caught on. I don't think they will catch on. In your own polls, I'm 20 points up. I'm way up on everybody. And I'm not, by the way, the last thing I care about is the poll from the stand. I have to do what's right. Yeah. And what's right is this. We have a problem. It's a serious problem. It's got to be solved. And people that are Muslim, that are friends of mine, are so happy that I brought it up.
We'll talk more in depth about that, but I want to stick with your critics in the party, because they believe, and I don't know if you do, they say it may be good for your brand, but it's bad for the Republican brand. Are you concerned about that? What do you think of that?
Well, they don't believe anything. They believe what's good for them. They don't care about brand. They don't care about anything else.
Do you think it's damaging for the Republicans?
No, I think it's actually going to be an asset ultimately. Just like illegal immigration was an asset, I think it's going to be an asset ultimately.
Here's what Jeb Bush tweeted. He said, maybe Donald negotiated a deal with his buddy Hillary Clinton continue.
Michelle, I wish you really did not take the high road on his behind. I needed Michelle from Chicago, not the former First Lady.
So while I'd love nothing more than to pretend like this isn't happening and to come out here and do my normal campaign speech, it would be dishonest and disingenuous to me to just move on to the next thing like this was all just a bad dream. This is not something that we can ignore. It's not something we can just sweep under the rug as just another disturbing footnote in a sad election season. Because this was not just a lewd conversation. This wasn't just locker room banter. This was a powerful individual speaking freely and openly about sexually predatory behavior, and actually bragging about kissing and groping women, using language so obscene that many of us were worried about our children hearing it when we turn on the TV. And to make matters worse, it now seems very clear that this isn't an isolated incident. It's one of countless examples of how he has treated women his whole life. And I have to tell you that I listen to all of this, and I feel it so personally. And I'm sure that many of you do too, particularly the women. The shameful comments about our bodies, the disrespect of our ambitions and intellect.
3 people, 3 moments, 1 disaster. I respect all 3 of them. I want to be clear about that before we go any further. This is not an attack. This is not a pile on. This is me calling out something that nobody wants to say out loud. Don Lemon gave him a seat at the table. Barack and Michelle Obama gave him the dignity of their silence. And while all 3 of them were being professional, being gracious, being the bigger person, Donald Trump was winning. You cannot take the high road with dirt. All it does is get you dirty. And we are all living in that dirt right now. Let's start with Don Lemon. Now, I want to be fair here. Don Lemon was a journalist. He had bosses. He had a job to do. And he was very good at that job. I understood that then, and I understand it now. It is a lot easier for me to sit here and throw stones because I have nothing to lose. Don Lemon had everything to lose. But here is what I also know. When CNN put Donald Trump on live television and let him talk and talk and talk, they did something that changed everything. They treated him like a legitimate candidate before he was won. They gave him airtime that money could not buy. And Don Lemon was the face of a lot of that coverage. I watched that interview, and I remember thinking, this man just got handed something he did not earn. A platform, credibility, the appearance of being someone worth taking seriously. And once you give that to somebody like Donald Trump, you do not get it back. Don Lemon never got that interview again. I called that. And to the best of my knowledge, I was right. But the damage was already done. Not because Don Lemon is a bad person. He is not. But because access journalism with someone who has no intention of being honest is not journalism. It is a gift. Now let's talk about the Obamas. And this one is harder for me because my respect for Barack and Michelle Obama runs deep. These are not people I take lightly. These are not people I enjoy criticizing. But I have to call it like I see it. When Donald Trump came for Barack Obama, and he did repeatedly, publicly, viciously, with that birther nonsense, with the disrespect, with everything he threw at him, Barack Obama took the high road. When Trump won in 2016, the Obamas were gracious. They were dignified. They talked about the peaceful transfer of power. They said all the right things. And I get it. I understand the position they were in. You are former President and First Lady of the United States. You have a legacy to protect. You have a standard to uphold. I understand all of that. But here is my problem. Donald Trump is not a normal opponent. He is not someone who responds to dignity. He does not see grace as a virtue. He sees it as weakness. And every time Barack and Michelle Obama chose the high road, every time they bit their tongue, every time they were the bigger person, Trump used that space to get bigger. If you have ever dealt with a bully, and most of us have, you know that ignoring them does not make them go away. It makes them louder. It makes them bolder. It makes them believe there are no consequences. Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. I love that line. I do. But some situations don't call for high. Some situations call for you to get in the mud and fight. And this was one of them. Now, if someone can prove me wrong on this, I genuinely want to hear it. I am not locked in just to be locked in. But from where I stand, the grace and the dignity and the high road cost us something real. And we are still paying that price today. If you are new here, this channel is called Systematic Audit. We talk about the things most people walk past. We do not do this for clicks. We do it because somebody has to say it. If that sounds like something you want more of, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on your notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Look, I am not here to cancel Don Lemon. I am not here to tear down the Obamas. These are people who dedicated their lives to something bigger than themselves, and I respect that completely. But respect does not mean silence. And love does not mean you cannot call out a mistake. Don Lemon gave Trump a platform when Trump was nobody. The Obamas gave Trump the gift of their restraint when the moment called for something different. And Donald Trump, being exactly who he has always been, took every single thing they gave him and used it to get to the White House. They didn't vote for him, but they helped build him. And that is something we all have to sit with. If this video made you think, share it with somebody who needs to hear it. And if you disagree, tell me why in the comments. I read them. Let's talk about it.